Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Catch Ups. Today, coming to you from the studio. It's always so cool to be able to step in the studio and to be able to present one of our either events or our coffee catch ups or our summits. We've had so much going on recently that it's been amazing. But I feel like I've spent a lot of time in this spot staring at this camera, but some really, really exciting things that we have been working on as a team. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope that you are smashing all those goals that you have set yourselves for the week and starting to get out there and absolutely dominate. So make sure you give us a like, give us a hello once you guys jump in to say good afternoon, and let's rip into it. Because today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the concept of good debt versus bad debt. Good debt and bad debt, and the whole concept of, well, is debt even something that you want to consider? Because you always grow up with this concept of, well, debt is a bad thing. And often it's a perceived concept that we always hear. Get yourself out of debt, pay down your debts, get rid of those debts. All debts are bad. Well, what about the concept of when we can actually start to take debts and start to create it into a positive for us? We can start to take debts and actually create a situation where that debt can start to earn yourself an income. And that's something I'm excited to talk to you about. Now, we have had, like I mentioned, a busy few weeks here at Wealth Mentor. Last week, we actually had 3 different events going on last week, 2 of them on the same day even. It was an exceptional week. Now, I'd like to just make sure that you guys are aware as to what we did do. And one of them I'd like you to jump on and have a watch of is a webinar that I did on Thursday night, which is all about how to buy your first investment property. Jump onto the YouTube channel. You guys are here now watching this, so you're already in the space. Jump on, grab that webinar, have a watch, have a listen, because it's some really interesting concepts and it'll relate quite a bit to what I'm going to talk about today in terms of having equity, which using that equity, which in turn means that you are creating more debt or using debt proactively. As well as that, we did have on Thursday night a webinar which was for our advanced students, epic webinar. It was all talking about some of the extra bonuses and features and elements that our students have. We're talking about huge opportunities with some of the biggest suppliers in this country, and it was a lot of fun to be able to present those to our students. And the amount of member benefits now for those advanced clients is absolutely exceptional. Now on Saturday we had something called the Success Summit. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Kyron, who was a big part of pulling this event together. He put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was a huge success. We heard from 18 different people over a few hours. Those 18 different people having different journeys, having different levels of success, but everybody in their own right had some level of success that they got the opportunity to share with so many of you. It was a really great opportunity. And in saying that, the concept of being able to hear everybody's journey was really so inspirational. I spoke to some of our students yesterday who watched the whole Success Summit and had nothing but positive things to say about how it really motivated them. It encouraged them. It gave them so much positive vibes and energy after that session that they just have inspired them to get out there and become the best version of themselves. It's something that at Wealth Mentor we're so big on. Become the best version of yourself. How can you become the best version of yourself? Well, it's about continuing to grow. It's about continuing to educate yourself. It's about continuing to surround yourself with like-minded people that are looking to become the best version of themselves. Because when your network is looking to evolve, you will grow and evolve with that network as well. So like I said, 3 epic events that we have had over the last 3 days. Right, let me get back into good debt versus bad debt. And the concept really comes down to changing of a mindset. It's changing the way that you view the concept of debt. It's kind of like when I say to people, hey, my goal every year is to pay as much tax as possible. Yeah, yes, you heard that correctly. I said I want to pay as much tax as possible. Because when you think of it, paying as much tax as possible means that we are earning as much money as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, my big goal is that I'm going to be paying as much tax as possible, but I'm going to be as tax efficient as possible. Tax efficiency, but my goal is to earn as much as I can to pay as much tax. So again, that's a little bit of a mindset shift, going from debt is bad to debt can be good if you choose the right debt. Paying as little tax as possible, paying as much tax as possible. Now, tax efficiency, that's something for a whole nother day. That's about how you structure yourself. That's about how you ensure that you are distributing funds or how you are running your entities. And that's definitely a subject for another day, like I said before. But let's get into this good debt versus bad debt. It's a really simple concept, and I'm going to pop it up on the whiteboard for you, which is that good debt essentially feeds me, whereas bad debt eats me. I absolutely love this simple idea, because really, when you think about it, the concept that it's debt that is creating an income, bad debt that is going to cost you more on interest, on potentially against learning more money. So what are some examples of good? Actually, let's start with some examples of bad debt. Some bad debt might be purchasing a car that you don't necessarily need and putting it on finance. It could be those nice new shoes that you decided that you want to buy. Is that creating you anything besides, nice shoes? Potentially not. But what about if that nice new car that you bought has then meant that you are able to charge more for your Uber rides? I know that's something random that just came to me. Well, then maybe now we're looking at a good debt. So essentially, we need to look at it in the case of, is the debt creating an income? Is the good debt feeding me? So what are some examples of good debt? I think the most important one to consider is a mortgage. Again, you often hear the concept of people coming to you going, I want to pay down my mortgage. I'm all about paying down my mortgage. Yes, that's got its place. But what if that mortgage that you're paying down, let's think of it here, your mortgage is at 3.5%, 4%. So by paying down a mortgage, you're saving yourself 3.5%, 4% of interest. But what about if we could take that mortgage and create a better return for that money? So now we're looking at what is our return on investment. Because if your money that you've got in a mortgage that you release, take it out, you use that money, that equity, and you purchase an asset or invest it where you're getting anything more than what the money is costing you. So let's say 4%, if you're even able to get 5%, your money is creating you 1% of return. But when you invest into good investments, we should be looking at 10% plus. And that's not taking into account capital growth either. This is taking into account just cash on cash. So if we have the ability to take the money out of a mortgage or leverage into another mortgage or get a mortgage on an investment property, we're creating more debt, but we're creating a return on investment on it, which is in turn, again, feeding you. Yes, that says feeding. You may not read my 5-year-old writing. So now we see the concept of being able to use debt to create a return on investment. Now, the return on investment does not necessarily have to be just financial, because a return on investment could also be related to personal growth, education, becoming the better version of yourself to be able to then have better understanding as to how you can get a return on investment. Now, this here comes down to, I think, the growth and the mindset in order to change the way that you view things to, again, try and grow as an individual. Because knowledge is the power. And if you don't have the knowledge, then debt is more likely to become bad debt. we are not educated enough in the financial space. And that's something at Wealth Mentor we're hugely passionate about, is being able to identify areas of financial education that we can grow and improve people's financial positions, not just necessarily through property. But obviously, property is a great vehicle in terms of being able to grow your wealth, being able to grow your cash flow. It's been a vehicle that has been hugely beneficial for me in terms of my investing future. Because for me, my goal is to get as much of this as possible. I once heard this mentor say to me, and I remember it because it was when I was first getting into my investments. A mentor said to me, my goal is to get into as much debt as possible. My goal is to get into as much debt as possible. But also, my goal is to leave my kids with as much debt as possible. And you go and you hear this and you're like, wait, what? Your goal is to create as much debt as possible, and your goal is to leave your kids with as much debt as possible. But with our narrow mindset, or our mindset that doesn't look at things from a positive angle, is going, well, okay, you're going to leave your kids with all these credit card debts. You're going to leave your kids with these personal loans. But what about if those debts you're leaving your kids are mortgages? What if those debts that you're leaving, that you're growing, is again purchasing properties, having mortgages associated? Because you're not going to be buying properties that are going to be negatively geared. You're not going to be buying properties that have the ability to go back in value. Because what we're doing is we're buying properties that we understand the concept of forced appreciation. That word, it seems a little bit foreign to you, don't worry. That's something that we do teach and incorporate into all the learnings as you grow as an investor. So the mindset shift for today is going to be, no longer is debt bad. Debt can be good if you have the education behind you. And your goal is going to be to start to pay as much tax as possible, because that means financially you're making progress with your investing. Now, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody seemed to have sales. Everybody's jumped out there and they've been throwing out these amazing sales. What we got? Cyber Monday. We got Black Friday. And most of the emails that have come into your mailbox are all about creating bad debts. Throw it on the credit card, those nice new shoes. Throw it on the credit card, that beautiful new TV that's unnecessary. But what about if I could give you a Cyber Monday that's going to be a good debt? And that's what I've got for you right now. And that is, we ran Cyber Monday for our Cash Flow Masterclass. Guys, if any of you have ever experienced our Cash Flow Masterclass, it's an exceptional couple of days. Thank you, tech team, for bringing that up. There is the Cyber Monday. We're offering the Cash Flow Masterclass, normally offered at $14.97, at only $195. It's an absolute steal. We're running this right here from our studio at Wealth Mentor next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you've ever considered the concept of growing as an investor and spending 3 days with an exceptional group of people, I'll be presenting alongside Kyron. We will have some amazing speakers alongside us, Therese, Paul, Belinda, many of the people that you have seen on this coffee catch-up. So make sure you grab that. There's a link in the chat. And nice and easy, use the discount code Cyber Monday. You saw that on that graphic there, Cyber Monday. It's going to mean that you can get your ticket for only $195. It's an absolute steal. I mean, $195 for 3 days, and it's for 2 tickets. That's like $33 per day per person. Absolute steal. You can't go past it. Make sure you jump on and grab that. Guys, as always, been a great coffee catch up. I absolutely love being able to come to you, and it's always nice to be able to step into the studio and be able to give you this session. Get out there, have a fantastic Tuesday, smash your Wednesday. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and get out there, and most importantly, stay awesome. See you, everybody.